Mountain Lake is about 2,000 years old. Starting in the about 18th century, the lake began to decline dramatically. There's a rapid increase in the rate of sedimentation in the lake. We also see the arrival of non-native plant pollen, European grasses and annuals like ragweed, which typically came in the stomachs of cows. So when the 49ers were here, they stripped all the lakes of all the native fauna to fill their cooking pots. And on top of that, the Army began to pump water out of the lake, starting in the middle of the 20th century to irrigate the golf course. And the clincher was when they built the roadway to the Golden Gate Bridge. People who lived in the Richmond district decided to liberate their pets in the lake. And so what had happened over time is the lake had been populated by this incredible number of non-native fish species. So these three factors in the health of the lake, the shallowness of the lake, the inputs of nutrients, and this regular input, if you will, of non-native animals, these former pets, had created a really unhealthy system in the lake.
We dredged out the contaminants of concern from the bottom of the lake. So those are no longer there. We made the lake deeper in doing that as well. We made it about 50% deeper in that process. We fixed the drainage along Highway 1. We planted a whole suite of species. Giant red alders, we planted those. Those will get to be very big. Beautiful, majestic coast live oaks, buckeyes. So that's sort of the big sort of local forest species that we planted, and then a lot of wetland loving species for different layers of the understory too. So we would have planted flowering currants, California roses, little yerba buenas growing along the ground, little local strawberries. The lake itself would have had all of these plants that would have grown in the water, aquatic plants, historically. So we're working with other researchers to reintroduce those plants, several species, at least 8 species of aquatic plants. That's going to go a long way to making the lake healthy in the long run. And to bring back other animal species that we're excited about too. There are species like the three-spined stickleback, a little fish that depend on things like the aquatic vegetation. Amphibians, reptiles. The San Francisco Zoo is currently raising 100 western pond turtles for us, so those could make an appearance at Mountain Lake in 2015. We're working with researchers from Stanford University on reintroducing freshwater species of mussels that would have been found in Mountain Lake. They're filter feeders, so they're constantly cleaning the waters. The idea isn't to be out there actively managing these sites, but all of the time, but that we're actually jump-starting ecosystem processes. So these areas will more or less take care of themselves. Nothing that happens at Mountain Lake would happen without volunteers. Almost 6,000 plants, all planted by volunteers. A little 4-acre lake can have such an amazing reach to so many people.
I think we have to do as a community everything we can to develop new ways of thinking about nature and new ways to think about the stewardship of biodiversity in the urban environment. And to me, what Mountain Lake is an opportunity to experiment with stewarding endangered animals in the middle of a city, in the middle of an urban area, in the middle of a metropolitan area with 6 million people, and doing it in a way that acknowledges that people exist and that people have to be part of the solution instead of only being part of the problem.